Akon publicly talked about his hair transplant. I'll give you my thoughts on what he said. But first, let's take a look at the hairline before the procedure and compare it to how it looks now. In 2003, at the age of 30, we can see Akon has actually this scar on the forehead, and that will be useful for tracking the height of his hairline. And it looks like the hairline at this point is about 2 centimeters above that scar. And we'll track that over time. The temples to me seem displaced fairly posterior, but at this point I think it works with his hairline height. Also, the horizontal thirds of the face appear appropriate with the hairline position, and it's still along the vertical dimension of the forehead. So as the forehead is coming up, you can see the hairline, and then most of the curvature begins to the rest of the skull. In 2005, at the age of 32, there's great hair density at the temples, the frontal scalp, the mid-scalp, and the crown. He also appears to have great donor supply. In terms of the horizontal thirds, we did a measurement, and it looks like the upper part of the face is 7 centimeters, the middle part is about 6 centimeters, and the lower part is about 7.3 centimeters. The average male upper third of the face, as far as the forehead height, is about 6 to 7.5 centimeters, so he falls within that norm. In 2006, at the age of 33, you can see that Akon does have significant skull curvature, but overall the hairline, to me, looks well positioned. In 2008 through 2011, I'm not seeing any changes. In 2012, at the age of 39, it appears to me that Akon is straightening his frontal-most hairs to gain some length and reduce the visible height of the hairline. And for several years, it looks like Akon continued to style his hair in this manner, all the way through 2018. In 2019, at the age of 46, I think this is the year when Akon had his hair transplant. Likely the reason for his shorter hair. Since we know he went to Turkey and he has admitted to an FUE procedure, likelihood is very high that he had a full head shave for that procedure. A helpful hair modality that pairs well with a hair transplant is low-level laser light therapy. We have an entire video on it, make sure to check it out. We want to thank iRestore for sponsoring this video and for supporting our channel. Low-level laser light, which is in the red or near infrared light range, 600 to 950 nanometers, is a portion of the electromagnetic spectrum that has visible light. This range of light helps hair grow by stimulating the stem cells in the hair follicle bulge, and consequently shifts the follicles towards the anagen growth phase. Here it is, the iRestore device. FDA cleared for both men and women, grow thicker and fuller hair, 3 brief treatments weekly. Looks great. What's included? You get 1 iRestore Professional 282, power adapter, a controller, and the user manual. Let's take a look. I see it. Ta-da! Look at all those diodes and lasers. What's interesting about iRestore devices is that they utilize both lasers and LEDs in order to create uniform scalp coverage. So I can't quite put it on my hair since I have no hair, but here it is. You got a battery pack, you've got a controller, so we turn this on, okay, and then watch this. Hit play, and wow, hair's growing. You know, this is great for people with androgenic alopecia, especially people who, you know, are not in the extremes of the spectrum. So not like Norwood's, 1 or 7, but a lot of people in the middle can benefit, right, as a form of medical therapy for your thin hair. So this is one of the modalities that's available for thickening up the hair. iRestore offers 2 FDA-cleared devices, iRestore Essential and iRestore Professional. Here are some of their before and after results. Don't forget to check out iRestore now and take advantage of their Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. Check it out iRestore. They've got the 2 different devices. And yeah, there's a link in the description below. Let us know if you have any questions. Please make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications. Thanks. In 2020, at the age of 47, these are already the results of his transplant, though we didn't hear about it until that podcast that happened more recently.
Help me out. So as you can see, I shaved my head in the same way you've shaved your head all these years.
Right.
What's up with the hair? What are we doing here? How can I get the Akon? Where do I got to go to?
You got to grow it out just a little bit more.
Because I got this hairline. my dad's bald as. So I don't go to the barber. I just go to my bathroom and I just shave my head twice a week. I haven't shaved in about a week and a half, but like you obviously have hair.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, I went to Turkey. And got a procedure.
Was it painful?
Don't forget.
I like how straightforward he is. That's good. You know, a lot of people try to hide the fact that they had surgery, and we talk about that a lot on this channel, but here Akon's just going right into it. He says where he went for the procedure, and let's see what else he reveals.
In the beginning, my whole front was loose. It was real thin.
Was it painful?
So he's saying that the front was thin. Okay, as we talk about on this channel, for thin hair, oftentimes you need to stabilize it with medical therapy and sometimes bring in a fresh supply, such as a transplant does with hair from the back of the head to the front of the head. And that seems like what he had, but you know, was it just for the thinning or did he look to reposition his hairline? Because it looks like his hairline is sitting relatively low. So let's keep watching.
No. The painful part is the beginning when they got to numb you up. That numbing ain't no joke. But they stick a needle like this big, it's just kind of nonstop.
Yeah, so the numbing needles are not this big. They're usually about this big. There is a process that goes into numbing. Everyone's afraid of it. There are ways to make it more comfortable. Some of the ways are to inject the lidocaine slowly. Other things are the concentration of the lidocaine that's being injected. So when we start our numbing, we use a more concentrated type of lidocaine, which is 2% lidocaine with epinephrine. The epinephrine helps with bleeding, and it also helps keep the lidocaine in one place, and that also allows it to be more effective.
Did they do the graft thing where they take a piece?
The graft.
So that's what they did.
Yeah, they took the graft.
Because you're
Okay, so there's some nomenclature here when they say taking the graft. I'm assuming Akon's talking about doing the FUE procedure. We have a video on FUE versus FUT. Make sure to check that out. These days, men are getting FUT less frequently, of course, than FUE. There are still some advantages to the FUT procedure, and we talk about that in that video I mentioned. So the grafts are going to be the same as far as once you're ready to place them into the recipient area, but the way that they're extracted can be different, and that's where that distinction between FUE and FUT comes in. But the way they're talking about it, it seems like Akon had the FUE procedure.
It looks good. It looks
it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like Tory Lane should have went to your guy.
I told him. I said, Tory, you should have came to my man.
Linez?
You may have heard of
Tory Lanez.
Nah, we know it's Lane's. We know.
My man. Like, nigga, bro, you gotta,
And Turkey's known for that.
Turkey.
Remember, it's not just about the skill of the surgeon or the clinic that you go to. It's the caliber of your hair. It's your hair loss pattern. It's like whether you're on medical therapy or not. There's lots of different variables. So even if Tory went to Akon's person, he may not have had the same result.
He's known for 2 things. That's hair and teeth. They're really good on.
But you know, the way they're saying it, it makes it seem like they just go to this one place for the hair, one place for the teeth. In reality, there's like thousands and thousands of clinics, so you have to choose wisely.
People are getting beards now.
Yeah, I mean beards, the whole nine.
Floyd got the
because me, I can't grow
We have a video on Floyd's beard hair transplant.
hair on my face.
Me either.
Like I can't.
I grow facial hair like a 12-year-old.
And that's something to consider if you're thinking about a beard hair transplant, but you also have some scalp hair loss that you want to address with a hair transplant. Remember, it's the same donor supply essentially. So if you're taking a lot of those donor hairs and putting it up onto the scalp, then where is the hair going to come from for your beard, right? So sometimes you have to pick and choose. Sometimes you can sort of split, you know, where you're putting the hairs, but it's just something that's good to consider.
Was it expensive?
No, that's the thing. It's so affordable. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. What I was about to say.
For what I did, it would have cost me $50,000 here in America. $7,500.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, of course our expenses are higher here in America, so things are going to be more expensive. Plenty to unpack here. One is that definitely people will travel for cheaper surgery. Now, whether or not that's the best approach, that's up to the individual.
You do
No,
work
because
hard.
think about it. Even the teeth procedures over there. Here, the same job that people are paying 40, 50 grand for, they charging you $500, $7,500.
I go to Tijuana and go to the dentist because I work
Right.
for myself, so I don't have insurance. So I just go to TJ.
Yeah, there's always going to be a place that charges less. You just have to figure out if that's the single most important priority for you in how you decide on a hair transplant, or maybe there's something else that's more important. Now, in 2022, when this news came out about Akon's hair transplant and the fact that he admitted it on a podcast, because we could have been suspicious of it already based on the hairline height change, but him really talking about it on air was a big deal. Most celebrities won't do that. But then, of course, he got hit with all these memes, like calling him Lego Man and all these other things that some were funny, some were just plain out rude. But he took it like a sport and said, like, keep it coming. He found it hilarious. So that was a great way to take it. And when you're looking at his hairline now, the eye perceives unnaturalness. There's something about it that just jumps out, like so that's what we wanted to talk about here. Like, why is that? And I think he has good density, right, from his hair transplant. He probably had about 2,000 to 3,000 grafts for about a 2 centimeter lowering, but the hairline just looks too low. It's really out of proportion to the horizontal thirds, and it doesn't seem to fit with the lateral base temples that have receded with age. And even at a younger age, as we saw, he had fairly posteriorly based temples. So the only way to make this hairline work at this height would have been to bring the temples way in, which they didn't do. So you can tell the degree of lowering based on the hairline position relative to that scar that he has. Remember that we talked about in the beginning. And you can see that now that hairline is coming up right up to the upper edge of that scar, whereas before there was more clearance. We did actual horizontal third measurements. We remeasured Akon at this stage, and it looks like that upper third went down to 5 centimeters. So he did get about 2 centimeters of lowering of that hairline. Do you think Akon's hairline looks natural? Comment below, let us know what you think. And thanks to iRestore for sponsoring this video. Since you like this video on Akon's hair transplant, please make sure to check out our video on David Beckham's hair restoration journey. Click on that video and we'll see you there.